said it so casually, just a fact in passing, the way you'd mention the weather. At your age, with your hormone levels, it's perfectly normal for sexual desire to just stop. And I drove home, and I made a cup of tea, and I sat in my chair by the window, and I thought, oh, I have never once in my life thought of myself as a sexy woman, not because I was told I wasn't, though I was in the many thousand small ways our culture tells women they aren't, but because it simply wasn't the word that made sense when I thought of me. And now my doctor was telling me that the last thread of biological obligation had finally let go. That was the most luxurious sentence I had ever heard.
She walks up to me all innocence and sweetness and says, "Look at you, sexy old lady." I pause, receiving this winsome gift from a young person I know well, who is as kind as the day is long. She means it as nothing but praise, but it gives me pause. Have I arrived finally at my last fuckable day? Am I now to move into adjectives like well-kept and looks amazing for her age? And other such insulting compliments? Should I wake the fuck up and stop living in yoga pants and showing my cleavage? Is flirting an embarrassment now? One that I haven't noticed because people are just humoring me while they count the seconds until they can break away.
I was married for 31 years to a man who was not a bad man. I want to be clear about that. He was not a bad man. He coached Little League. He remembered birthdays. He cried at his mother's funeral with a realness that surprised me. And I fell in love with him all over again for about 6 weeks. But he was emotionally elsewhere. A man who experienced his own inner life as an inconvenience and other people's as an imposition. And sex? Sex was the one place he felt entitled to be present, where need was acceptable, where asking was his right and my availability was the answer. There is a particular exhaustion that lives in the body of a woman who has spent decades managing desire that was never really about her, who became, without ever deciding to, a service.
I could go on 20 feminist rants about how commodification has ruined us all, how age, especially for women, is demeaned and diminished, how misogyny finds ever uglier expressions as you move from object of lust to object of scorn and pure irrelevance. Women in their 50s, 60s talk about becoming visible. Psst, it's a trope because it's true. About the quest for a wetter, less fragile pussy. About how to get the skin to stop lagging and libidos to stop dragging. But none of them, with a few rare and glorious exceptions, talk about the joy of being slutty in your 60s.
He died 4 years ago. Cardiac event, sudden. And I grieved him. I truly grieved him. Because grief is not simple, and love is not simple. And 31 years of a life built together leaves marks that matter. But somewhere around month 8 of my widowhood, something happened. I woke up one day and I lay in my bed, the whole of it, both pillows, both sides, and I noticed that my body felt quiet, not numb, not grieving, just quiet, like a house after a long party. And the quiet itself was a presence, was fullness, was something I didn't have a word for yet, because no one had ever told me it was a thing you could feel.
Slut isn't a new word for me. Our culture thinks that sluts will fuck anyone, blow everyone, and never need emotional connection. In this society, being a black woman makes you a slut from the beginning. In enslavement and captivity, our sexuality and emotional connection were held hostage in exchange for survival. In media and music, we are often represented as over-sexualized, and in healthcare, strong to a fault, and thought not to be able to feel pain and connection. Now ain't that some shit? How can I distill centuries of oppression into a reality that you'll understand? I have layers of others. I take back what was stolen, and in return, take back what is mine, for me. I owned the word slut in my 40s after a deep dive into Tantra and the beginnings of what we now call sex positivity, rebranding it as sensuous, luscious, uninhibited Tantrika. I found the most powerful joy machine ever created, my uncensored erotic nature. This bliss, the bliss of feeling myself completely, of allowing full expression, has no compare. It is the endless streaming of energy from my cunt to my heart to my crown and to the world around me and back again that gives me my radiance and my aliveness.
Yeah. Menopause arrived for me like a great exhale. Not for everyone, I know that. I have held friends through years of pain and confusion, and I am not minimizing their experience. But for me, the slow receding of that particular tide felt like a freedom from the turbulent whitewater waves of that hormonal surge. And what was underneath was mine, just mine. Not performing, not accommodating, not negotiating, mine. And what I found there surprised me. I found that I am profoundly, deeply, almost embarrassingly sensual in ways I had never had the stillness to notice before. That the smell of bread baking makes me close my eyes. That my granddaughter's hand in mine on a walk contains more intimacy than I knew how to receive when I was young and noisy with wanting. That a really good cup of tea, made slowly, drunk slowly in a good chair by a window, is a complete sentence that describes being alive.
So it's a mind fuck, really. To look in the mirror and see reflected back an image that, according to our indoctrination, isn't supposed to feel that joy. Be that uninhibited and express pleasure, desire, and certainly not talk about it.
What do I say now, at this age, when someone asks what I've been up to?
Well, last week my partner and I had a threesome with a 45-year-old.
Not because
They were
just
just
because
pleasuring each
carrots
other.
were
And while I was
and I had nowhere to be.
very crazy about it.
And we talked an hour and a half about nothing.
Put his
Kids, the books she's reading, she's reading. And I was so
Someone takes out that
undivided.
Then,
For every
that
word
weekend,
of
we
it,
got
that
together
afterward,
with our
I
5
sat in
other
the quiet
members
and
for a
felt full
3-hour
to the brim.
session, beginning with intentions.
I got naked after
Then
doing the
moving
laundry,
into
then
erotic
making the
massage,
bed, and luxuriated in the
Too many
sublime
orgasms to
feeling
count.
of clean
And more I
sheets.
love yous and you're
And on
wonderful
Saturday,
than
I
you
walked
hear
in the
between
woods
hours
for 2 hours alone and cried a little,
Next week,
not from
I have a
sadness,
solo date
from the
with my
sheer
love
amount
team.
of beauty.
This
of the
man
lights
has a
of the
couch that
trees.
makes angels jealous of you.
And then,
that offers
and that was also beautiful.
quiet tenderness.
And I slept.
Oh, and I think my partner and I are going out
8
for dinner
hours, cool
in a movie
room, the
somewhere.
whole bed mine. And I woke up slowly, on my own terms, and lay there, just being.
I have learned to ignore certain things. Most notably, any lingering self-criticism over my looks, my body, concerns over what others think, just like I learned in my 30s and 40s, and then again in my 50s. Focusing on that shit will kill your joy faster than almost anything else. It takes practice, so start now. Find the people who are honored to share your pleasure and know how to make you shiver and your heart open.
Yeah. I have learned to stop measuring. Stop measuring my days against some imagined version of what a life would look like from the outside. It takes practice, so start now. Find the quiet inside the noise. Find what fills you, actually fills you, and tend it like a garden. Let it be ordinary. Let it be yours.
And if someone calls you a sexy old lady,
And if someone tells you, you look happy,
just smile and say thanks.
You're a good role model.